Today, we're diving into a critical system failure that's happening inside millions of bodies right now, completely undetected. It's something called asymptomatic high blood pressure, and it's a true silent killer.
Just think about that for a second. What if there were no warning lights, no alarms, no pain, nothing? Just this steady, invisible buildup of force that's slowly, methodically breaking down your most vital components from the inside out.
Because, well, that's the reality for nearly half of all American adults who have high blood pressure. The American Heart Association has made it clear this is a massive public health issue. And you know what's the most terrifying part? A huge number of these people have absolutely no idea.
So let's get right into it and break down what this invisible threat actually is. And I want you to forget about feelings of stress or anxiety for a moment. This isn't about how you feel. It's a problem of pure physical mechanics. Okay, so according to the CDC, the official line in the sand for hypertension is a consistent blood pressure reading at or above 130/80. Now, that top number, the systolic, that's the pressure in your arteries when your heart beats, the peak force. The bottom number, diastolic, that's the pressure when your heart rests between beats. When those numbers are always high, it means your whole system is under constant damaging strain.
And this right here, this is the central dangerous paradox of the whole thing. The CDC states it plainly. High blood pressure typically has no signs or symptoms. Your body doesn't send you a memo, it doesn't give you a heads up, it just silently takes the hit.
This next part is absolutely critical because we've got to dismantle a really common and really dangerous myth, this idea that you can feel your blood pressure. Look, the hard data is crystal clear on this. A study of newly diagnosed patients in Turkey found zero, and I mean zero correlation between the symptoms people reported, things like headaches or ringing in the ears, and their actual measured blood pressure. The big takeaway here, that headache you think is from high blood pressure, statistically speaking, it's probably just a headache. And this slide just perfectly illustrates the danger of relying on feelings. Get this, almost everyone, 93% of the people in the study said they had symptoms they blamed on the condition. But by the time they were actually diagnosed, a staggering 64%, that's nearly 2/3 of them, were already in stage 2 or 3. Their hypertension was already severe. The symptoms they were feeling were totally misleading, unreliable signals that showed up way, way too late.
So while the condition itself is silent, the damage it's causing is very, very real. We're talking about the slow-motion mechanical failure of your body's most critical systems.
The medical term for this is end organ damage. And yeah, it's a chillingly technical phrase, isn't it? It describes the physical wreckage left behind by years of relentless, excessive pressure just hammering away at the delicate tissues of your heart, your brain, your eyes, your kidneys. And all that damage, it shows up as the most catastrophic failures your body can possibly have. We're talking heart attacks and heart failure because arteries get stiff and the heart muscle just gets weaker from being overworked. We're talking strokes when vessels in the brain either get blocked or just burst. Cognitive decline, chronic kidney disease, even vision loss. These aren't just possibilities, they are the direct, mechanical consequences of untreated hypertension.
So if you can't feel it, and the damage is this bad, how in the world do you fight an invisible enemy? It's actually pretty simple. You make it visible. You have to rely on data, not feelings. This chart from the American Heart Association, this is the diagnostic code. This is the only reliable truth. And notice something important for stage 1 and 2. It says or. That means if just one of your numbers, either systolic or diastolic, is in that higher range, you meet the criteria. This isn't a suggestion, it's the warning light. And it's a light you can only see with a blood pressure cuff. But what happens when the numbers are off the charts high? You'd probably think the goal is just to slam them back down to normal as fast as you can, right? But in medicine, it's almost never that simple. And this brings us to what's known as the clinician's dilemma. So there's this specific scenario doctors face called a hypertensive urgency. It's defined in UpToDate, which is a resource physicians use all the time. It's when blood pressure is severely elevated, we're talking 180/120 or even higher, but somehow there isn't any immediate, obvious organ damage. The system is completely at redline, but it hasn't blown a gasket yet. And here is the razor's edge they have to walk. If they lower the pressure too slowly, that silent grinding damage just keeps happening. But, and this is so critical, if they lower it too quickly, they can actually cause a stroke or a heart attack. The body has literally adapted to that crazy high pressure, and a sudden drop can starve the brain or the heart of blood flow. It is a super high-stakes balancing act between two different but equally terrible kinds of danger. So, after going through the silence, the damage, and the incredibly difficult clinical reality, what's the one clear, undeniable message we need to take away from all this? It's this. Your body's sensations, they're subjective. And as we've seen, they're completely unreliable for detecting this particular problem. Data, on the other hand, is objective. Measurement is truth. It is the only way to see the unseen and to know what is actually going on inside the machine. And really, it all comes down to this one question. This is one of the most critical warning gauges your body has, but it's not one you can feel. It's one you have to consciously decide to look at and read. The real question is, do you know how?